Part 4. The Dance of Sands and the First Encounter. The desert greeted us with the silver of morning light. The golden lines on the temple walls slowly faded behind us, as if a giant heart were settling into a calm rhythm after its nighttime awakening. We stepped outside and felt the world become vast again. The dry wind reached toward us with long fingers, lifting little clouds of sand. They spun in spirals, as though trying to imitate the golden patterns we had seen in the temple's depths. Valeria looked around, squinting at the brightness. Never thought the desert would feel alive after a night like this. Nivara Ora walked ahead, a white and gold figure against the endless ochre. Her movement was soft, like a gliding impulse leaving a faint vibration in the air. The temple gave us a direction, she said. The first node of the network lies far to the east. But the path will lead us through restless lands. I was about to ask what she meant, when the wind changed. As if something inhaled. Sand surged upward in a sharp twist, rising into a tall whirl. Valeria stepped back, shielding her face. I moved toward her. And the whirlwind laughed. Not with sound, but with a feeling, as if someone tugged playfully at the edge of the world. From the sand burst a figure, flexible, swift, shimmering with blue-green reflections under the sun. No wings, but her tail traced sharp strokes behind her, as if writing on the wind. "Wow," she exclaimed, spinning so fast that the sand scattered in a glittering fan. "I thought you'd never come out." Before us stood a young anthropomorphic dragoness. Her scales shimmered with sapphire tones, and her eyes were bright as twin lakes under a clear sky. Without a hint of shyness, she leaned forward, examining each of us one by one. "Humans, she winked at me. "A human girl," a nod to Valeria. "And," she froze, her eyes glowing brighter. "Oh. You're not just metal. You're light-born." "I am Nivara Ora," the robot girl replied, tilting her head slightly. "And you?" The dragoness grinned widely. "Kaylee. Explorer, wanderer, collector of oddities, hunter of shiny pretty things, and," she twirled around herself like performing a curtsy, "simply a curious soul." Valeria smiled. "Were you waiting for us?" "Well," Kaylee glanced at the temple. Everything here was whispering that someone important would come out in the morning. And when the walls start glowing from the inside, it's hard not to get interested. So yes, you could say I was lurking. Purely for sport." She stepped closer to Nivara, leaning in so close I feared she might brush against her panels. "You're from there." She flicked her tail toward the temple. "From that old golden beast." "The temple is part of a memory network," Nivara Ora said calmly. "And we are going to find its nodes." Kaylee's eyes sparked with delight. "A journey. Mysteries. Unknowns. Dangers." She tilted her head with each word. "Yes," Valeria answered before even finishing the thought. Kaylee squealed with joy and jumped so high that her shadow soared like a bird. "I'm coming with you." "But I began." No. She tapped a clawed finger on my chest. "Don't even try. It's settled already. You're heading toward adventure. I'm disastrously bored on my own. This coincidence is practically begging to become fate." Valeria burst into laughter, covering her mouth. Nivara Ora regarded the dragoness almost thoughtfully. "You truly wish to join us? The road will be long." "What's the hurry?" Kaylee flipped backward, landing softly as a cat. "Life is long, the world is big, and you're all adorable. I'm coming." And without waiting for permission, she marched ahead across the sand. We exchanged glances. I shrugged, feeling the wind bring something light, fresh and cheerful. Her energy may be useful, Nivara Ora noted. She'll lift our spirits, Valeria laughed. And we followed the dragoness, who was already drawing loops on the sand with her tail, as if marking the road for all wandering winds. Thus, to our quiet, almost sacred trio, a spark was added. A living blue lightning bolt. And the road grew wider. Part V. The Song of the Golden Corridors. Our small camp in the dunes felt like an island of light drifting in the quiet sea of the desert. Kaylee settled closest to the fire, stretching her paws toward the warmth, then flipping over, then creeping toward my flask to inspect it as if expecting it to hide something astonishing. Valeria, by contrast, seemed born for any journey. The wind smoothed her braid, and her eyes glowed with that quiet, expectant light that appears when someone senses that the world is about to reveal something unusual. Era, our white guardian android, sat beside us like a statue of a goddess that had chosen to awaken only because the world had grown interesting. Her eyes shone with gentle golden rings. When the stars reached the very middle of the sky, the desert stirred. Almost imperceptibly. As if someone brushed a finger along a colossal string stretched beneath the sand. "Did you hear that?" Valeria whispered. "And how?" Kaylee hopped in place. "It felt like something just did a somersault under the ground." Era rose. The golden pattern on her neck brightened. "A mechanism beneath the temple is awakening. It is responding to your presence. Possibly to all three of you. Possibly, to the combined resonance of your energies." "Sounds like we're a key," I said. Kaylee flashed a grin. "Then let's go unlock whatever wants to be unlocked." We headed toward the temple, and the sand trembled faintly under our feet. Inside, the corridors greeted us with a soft golden glow. The stones radiated from within, as if absorbing our footsteps. But now the light was different. It didn't merely illuminate. It answered. Whenever Kaylee darted forward, the walls seemed to quiver from her energy, and the patterns flared behind her, leaving a living trail. Valeria walked calmly, and the light beneath her steps grew steadier, as though the temple respected her quiet, creative soul. As for Era, walking slightly ahead, she seemed to converse with the ancient structure itself, and it replied with a subdued, intimate glow. We reached a round chamber we had not seen before. At its center stood a tall pillar of glass-like stone, with golden lines flowing inside it like currents of solar wind. "This is the core of the temple," Era said. "It chooses whom to show its hidden paths. Usually, no one. Impressing ancient things is my favorite hobby." Kaylee spun around, snapping her tail through the air. The pillar responded with a sign, a soft, melodic chime, like a crystal flute taking its first breath. The patterns along its surface drifted apart, unfolding into a corridor of light. "It's inviting us," Valeria whispered. Era glanced at each of us, as if ensuring we were prepared to step into deeper mystery. "Beyond this point lies what only our unity can reveal. The temple will not open this part to a grass dragon alone, or to a human, or even to a machine. It waits for a team." Kaylee was already one step from the passage. "So, coming. Whoever's last is a camel's tail." Laughing, we followed her, and the luminous corridor drew us in with a quiet inhalation. What awaited ahead was not merely another chamber of the temple. It was a piece of its mind. And there began the next chapter of our journey. Part 6. The Hall That Dreamed of Destinies. When the radiant corridor closed behind us, the space ahead unfolded as if it were stretching its own wings. The light stopped being just light. It became tangible, like a weightless fabric stretched from wall to wall, with thin filaments streaming from it, as though the temple itself were composing music and finally allowed us to see it. Wow, Kaylee was already twirling under the vaulted ceiling, her tail carving playful spirals into the air. It smells like a thunderstorm and honey. There are no scents here, Era noted gently, but there are impressions. The temple transmits feelings directly into our minds. Valeria brushed her fingers along one of the glowing strands. It trembled like a living string, and a clear crystalline note rippled across the hall. How beautiful, as if someone placed an ancient forgotten dream inside this room. I stepped closer. At the center of the chamber floated a massive spherical construct, crystalline, yet filled with shifting moments. Inside it, images flickered, changing like the breath of wind. This is an archive, Era whispered. But not an archive of knowledge. An archive of what could have been. Kaylee hovered beside the sphere. So, it shows the future. No, Era shook her head. Possibilities. Potentials. Paths the temple has touched. The sphere suddenly changed color. Inside, a silhouette appeared, a human. Then two. Then three. And then a fourth, elongated, horned. We all tensed. That's us, I murmured. Not exactly, Era said. It is what the temple sees as possible. One of the paths you may follow. An image drifted outward from the sphere. We stood atop a colossal glowing tower. Above us, a great mechanism unfurled, shaped like a golden alabaster crown. From it burst a beam of light that illuminated the desert for many miles. Pretty. Kaylee stretched her paws. So what does it mean? That we're going to become some kind of desert superheroes? Or that we save someone? I guessed. Valeria gazed at the picture quietly. Her eyes glowed in that same way they do when she looks at a blank canvas before painting something new. There's a sense of purpose. As if something is calling. Era moved her hand through the air, and the strands of light gathered into her gesture, forming a symbol that resembled a stylized eye. This is the mark of the Temple of Potentials. It signifies a choice of path. And it is activated. The temple wants us to choose something. I asked. The temple wants you to recognize your link, Era said softly. The human. The creator. The ancient being. And the one who is the machine-born continuation of the architect's will. Kaylee spun in place. Sounds like an amazing team. How about we call ourselves the Sunpaw Squad? Heavenly Wanderers. I suggested. Architects of Light, Valeria smiled. Era tilted her head slightly. These are only names. What matters is that the temple perceives you as a single pattern. And because of that, it opens the way further. The floor beneath us lit with new lines. The hall began to rotate slowly, not physically, but as though reality itself were rearranging, preparing to reveal the next space. The sphere pulsed several times, like a heart-gathering rhythm. Then, deep within its glow, a doorway opened, shaped like a sliced strand of light, its edges dripping with golden droplets. Kaylee leapt up. Another door. Seriously, how did you even manage without me? I'd have opened all of this ages ago. We laughed. But as we stepped forward, the light grew deeper. Heavier. As if beyond this point lay not just a secret, but a trial. Ready? Era asked, her voice warmer than usual. Valeria nodded. Kaylee flared her wing blades. I drew a breath. And together, we stepped through the golden door.